Welcome to the December 13th monthly meeting of the Henrico County School Board. I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank our maintenance staff this week who worked so hard to clear all of our parking lots and buildings, sidewalks, et cetera, to get us back into school on time tomorrow. So we're thankful to them. Board members, you've had the opportunity to review the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there a motion to approve that agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Cock. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Reverend Cooper. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Dr. Cashwell?
All right, we'll begin our meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, we will have a moment of silence which may be used by those in attendance for personal reflection, prayer, or meditation. If you would like to stand for the moment of silence, we'll follow that by the pledge. And that concludes our moment of silence, and I'd now like to introduce Dr. Keisha Lipscomb, principal of Ashe Elementary School, who will introduce the students who will be leading us in the pledge.
Good evening, Dr. Cashwell, school board members, and guests of Henrico County Public Schools. I'd like to introduce these amazing all-stars: Caleb Worrell, Ava Miles, Markel Alexander, Ricky Blunt, Toshawn Rivas, Janiyah Little, and Mia Cobb. And these wonderful students will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Come up, see.
All right, and you all may be seated. Next, we'll have our performance highlight.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Cashwell, colleagues and guests, it is my pleasure to introduce for our performance highlight this evening the Arthur Ashe Elementary All-Stars Chorus under the direction of Miss Shantia Myrick. The students will be performing two selections this evening. They'll start with That's Right, and they will follow with a song that I know you'll be happy to hear called Snow. It's a good song. Arthur Ashe All-Star Chorus is made up of 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. Their principal, Dr. Lipscomb, is here, and we appreciate her bringing our students tonight. And now please help me welcome to our very talented group of singers from Arthur Ashe Elementary School under the direction of Miss Shantia Myrick.
That's right. I'm looking out my window and I see a lot of rain. Looks like it's gonna be another wintry day. Got my coat, got my hat, check my out. Guess there's gonna be some snow and it's coming on the way. It looks like snow. I see the snow. Here comes the snow. Just let it snow. It looks like snow. I see the snow. Here comes the snow. Just let it snow. Just let it snow. The Charlie Brown flakes are falling slowly from the sky, right on my nose and on the lashes of my eyes, falling down to the ground all around. This is gonna be some snow and it's really gonna fly. It looks like snow. I see the snow. Here comes the snow. Just let it snow. It looks like snow. I see the snow. Here comes the snow. Just let it snow. Just let it snow.
First of all, let's give another round of applause for such strong voices with 7 students. That's awesome. Arthur Ashe. Madam Chair, school board members, and Superintendent Dr. Cashwell, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of Dr. Naya Hamlet to introduce one of our newest team members, our Director of Foundational Learning. At this time, I'd like for Ms. Christina Alsop to please stand as Henrico County Public Schools' new Director of Foundational Learning. Ms. Alsop brings to us lots of years of experience. She has earned her Master's of Education degree in School Administration from Cambridge College, her Bachelor of Science from Elementary Education in Jackson State University. She's currently the Director of Title I Education, has been doing so for several years in Virginia Beach City Schools. She's been a Title I Coordinator, Title I Instructional Specialist, Title I Reading Teacher, and also had the privilege of teaching in Georgia, Maryland, and Virginia in all grades 1st through 5th. What a feat. She's also been a presenter at numerous state conferences and also has served on numerous panels as well. So Dr. Hamlet, I apologize for being unable to be here, but I'm certainly privileged as your partner in federal education here to introduce you and to also welcome you to the team. So at this time, Ms. Alsop, would you like to introduce your family or who's here with you today?
Yes, well, first I'd like to say I'm very excited to be joining the Henrico family, excited to be a part of the community here, so thank you for that. And I'd like to introduce my husband, Captain Richard Alsop. He's the reason why I've lived and taught in all of those places. And our 2 daughters are not with us tonight, but they are here with us in spirit. And then I also have my great friend, Dr. Valika Gatlin, and her son, Louis, here with us tonight.
Awesome. Again, welcome to the team.
Madam Chair, members of the school board, Dr. Cashwell, colleagues, and guests, it is my privilege to introduce the new educational specialist for professional learning and leadership, Ms. Brooke Thompson. Ms. Thompson received her Bachelor of Science degree from Radford University, a Master of Arts in Education from Central Michigan University, and a Certificate in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies from the University of Richmond. I'm proud to share that Ms. Thompson's entire professional career has been with Henrico County Public Schools, beginning with her first teaching job at Johnson Elementary. She also served as a Title I math teacher at Adams, a resource teacher at Johnson, and currently serves as the Associate Principal at Varina Elementary School. Brooke is a passionate educator who brings a wealth of experience to her new position. Her energy and drive are contagious, and with her instructional expertise, she is a perfect fit for the PLL team. Welcome, Brooke. We know you will continue to make great things happen for the teachers and students in Henrico County.
Thank you, Dr. Weston, and I'm just so incredibly grateful to the team for this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to doing great things with Henrico County. I wanted to introduce my family and thank my family for being here to support me. This is my mom, Ruth, and my dad, Sonny Courtney. This is my daughter, Riley Reed, my husband, Chris, and my sister in education, Jenna Childress. She's here to support me as well, and I just want to thank everybody again so much.
It is also my privilege to introduce the 2018 R.E.B. Award recipients. Established in 1988, I will. Established in 1988, the R.E.B. Awards for Teaching Excellence recognizes public school teachers who distinguish themselves by inspiring classroom performance. The program is based on the belief that positive educational experiences at all levels help children form lifelong habits around learning. Through a nomination process, approximately 15 outstanding teachers representing Chesterfield, Hanover, Henrico, and Richmond City are selected each year to receive cash grants to support professional learning activities. Award recipients have earned graduate degrees, climbed mountains, traced their ancestors, and met peers from around the world, all to reignite their own passion for learning and to pass it on to students. We're excited to share that 4 Henrico teachers were named as R.E.B. recipients this year. Our first recipient is Carolyn Canning. Not sure Carolyn could be with us this evening, but I would like to share that she is an English teacher at Henrico High School. She received $11,500 to study the effects of apartheid and the impact of Nelson Mandela and social justice movement in South Africa. Carolyn will also use the grant to explore culture and beauty of Zambia in pursuit of literary connections. Our second recipient is Rob Meister. Come on up, Rob. Rob is an English teacher at Glen Allen High School, and he received $10,000 to study improvisational handpan music and techniques with international musicians from France, Portugal, and the U.S. to further enhance lessons in literature and writing. Our next recipient is Nicole Gross. Nicole is an English teacher at Fairfield Middle School, and she received $12,000 to explore the cultures, landscapes, languages, and arts that influence world literature and American culture. Nikki will travel to England, France, Italy, Spain, Ghana, and Morocco. Our final recipient is Robin Millwit. Robin is a kindergarten teacher at Greenwood Elementary School, and Robin received $11,500 to study emerging technologies that help develop students' social and emotional skills by visiting schools and educational technology companies in Finland. The grant will also pay for Robin to attend national technology conferences in Florida and California and to visit the Fred Rogers Center in Pennsylvania. In addition, 6 Henrico teachers were recognized as R.E.B. finalists, and each received a check for $750 from the Community Foundation. Although the teachers are not with us this evening, I would like to recognize them. Sarah Catlett from Trevette Elementary School, Jeanette Tuning from Hermitage High School, Catherine Lakovich from Deep Run High School, Christina Lynn, Shady Grove Elementary School, Joseph Palin, Deep Run High School, and Kristen Schimmel from Cackley Elementary School. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we would like to recognize the Helping Hand Volunteer Award winner for the month of December. This award is presented to volunteers who make extraordinary contributions to our schools. And I got to speed this up so he can get back to practice. Rick Waters, why don't you come on up front, please? Rick Waters of Hermitage High School was nominated by Timothy Jean-Pierre, Patrick Kane, and Chris Rollison. I know Coach Kane is back there. If everyone would wave and say hello to... All right. So, there are volunteers, and then there are members of the Volunteer Hall of Fame. Rick Waters is a shoo-in when that institution is built. Why? Try 18 years. That's how long Rick has been a critical volunteer for Hermitage High School athletics. To say Rick bleeds the red and the blue is an understatement. For almost 2 decades, Rick's typical fall week has gone something like this. He spends a full weeknight filming the JV football game for the Panthers coaching staff. Friday night, he's back at Hermitage to film the varsity game, and afterward, uploads the film to the web. He then stays until 1 in the morning working with the coaching staff to review the video and help evaluate the team's play. And if it's spring, he'll also film spring practice drills. In summer, it's JV and varsity scrimmages, and in late fall, playoff games. So if you think this is amazing, listen to this. He's also been a volunteer with the boys' JV basketball team for 17 years. Said Coach Kane in his nomination, Rick's film has been invaluable in helping Hermitage football players attain college scholarships. The quality of his film has been complemented by opposing coaches and college coaches. His dedication to our youth through basketball is also worthy of this award. His commitment is remarkable. And says Chris Rollison, Hermitage Director of Student Activities, he told Rick that he had been chosen to receive the Helping Hand Volunteer Award, and Chris said, I spoke to him and told him he needed to go to the school board meeting. Rick said he was worried about missing practice, and Chris told him he needed to be there to accept this award for everything he's done for us. Typical Rick, but congratulations to you.
To introduce the 2018 iNACOL Personalized Teacher of the Year, Mr. Jason Vest from Hungry Creek Middle School. Susan Patrick, President and CEO, and Bruce Friend, Chief Operating Officer of iNACOL, wanted to be here this evening to honor Jason, but they had a board meeting of their own this evening. The iNACOL Teacher of the Year Award is given annually to the K-12 educator whose efforts as a personalized learning teacher exemplify the highest degree of commitment to student success. iNACOL receives dozens of applications from outstanding educators from across the United States, making the selection of our Teacher of the Year quite challenging and resulting in the recipient joining an exclusive group of innovative educators. Last year, Jason transformed his social studies class, and this year, Jason has created an 8th grade innovation studies class. His students take part in authentic learning experience through the lens of an entrepreneur. Jason's efforts have resulted in the establishment of school partnerships that provide students the opportunity to engage with Virginia Commonwealth University's Center for Creative Economy, the Martin Agency, which we all know for their world-renowned advertising, Startup Virginia, which is a Richmond venture capitalist group, and the Ruger Restaurant Group. This student-led, community-supported initiative gave his students the opportunity to innovate original ideas for startups, develop a pitch for working with capital, and organize a catered event to create networking and mentoring opportunities for his students. Being the recipient of the 2018 iNACOL Personalized Teacher of the Year Award is a testament to Mr. Vest's commitment to providing outstanding opportunities for learners at Hungry Creek Middle School, and a recognition from his peers and students that he is an exceptional educator. Mr. Vest truly is shaping the next generation of students and leaders. Congratulations.
Madam Chair, members of the school board, Dr. Cashwell, with a focus on our district-wide coaching model, the Departments of Innovative Learning, School Improvement, and Professional Learning and Leadership would like to share some examples of our collective commitment to support the instructional practice of all teachers with the ultimate goals of increasing both student achievement and teacher retention. We appreciate your ongoing support of our coaching programs and hope you enjoy tonight's highlight on instructional coaching within our schools.
The role of a coach is to get the most out of his or her players and enable them to reach their true potential. And when that role is shifted from the field to the classroom, the goals are the same. Teacher coaches strive to make each day a win as they help develop all-star educators.
The Henrico County Public Schools instructional coaching model encompasses a strengths-based approach to instructional coaching that is job-embedded and student-centered. So we focus a lot on the needs of students and then organizing professional learning for teachers around what will best impact their students' learning.
Really kind of dig a little deeper.
In a strengths-based model, we are looking at what is going well and looking at how we can apply what is going well to areas where opportunities may exist for learning in regard to the students and or for teachers just looking at things in a different way to impact their students.
What I want you to do.
Tell me about the procedures of your meeting. I'm an instructional coach, so part of my job is helping brand new teachers, year 0 to 3, but primarily that year 0 because that first year of teaching is so incredibly difficult. But helping them fine-tune their instructions so their kids can learn the most.
I'm suggesting ways that they can help me, and then they bring in ideas, and it's definitely my choice whether I implement them in my classroom or not. Ms. McMillan gave me the idea of waiting at the door for students in the morning and giving them a math problem before they are able to come into the classroom. Just kind of gets their mind ready, and we have math at the beginning of the day, so it kind of lets them know kind of what we're going to be reviewing or talking about.
All right, so let's look at the first box. Is there another closest one?
Nothing prepares you for the interactions that you'll have daily with students, even throughout student teaching, because you had your cooperative teacher with you.
And those are basically.
But when you're the only one in the room, just building that relationships with them, that wasn't something I was prepared for.
There are frustrations that happen every day in any classroom, and I'm able to empathize with that and share kind of how I may have dealt with things, how I've seen other teachers deal with things.
So she actually did a model lesson for us, and seeing her interact with my kids and setting that example and over modeling and being explicit with instructions, I've been able to apply that to everyday lessons and just routines.
Boys, listen up. I show a thumb. Thumb up. Work very closely with your teacher.
My job specifically targets exceptional education teachers and high turnover schools. My focus at iNACOL is the exceptional education teacher and their collaborative partnerships. Myself, the general education teacher, and the collaborative teacher, we got together and we designed a station learning activity in which some students will be working independently. I'll be modeling a station, and then one of my teachers that I coach will be facilitating a station as well.
So now your 14th Amendment is
and we're going to hit all of those standards that those children need some reinforcement with. The end goal is retention, but I really feel like when teachers feel supported, they want to stay.
All right.
Talk about it as a group.
Our primary role is to help teachers engage their students in classrooms and help to make their lessons more authentic and connected.
With the main part of helping students gain those skills and attributes that they need to be successful when they leave Henrico County Public Schools.
So I work with teachers at 4 different elementary schools, and we figure out how to make learning fun for the kids. We usually use some sort of instructional technology. So at Glen Ellen Elementary School, I've been working with Katie Offenloch in 2nd grade, and the kids were creating weather books. They researched different types of extreme weather, and then they were creating books using Book Creator. The kids are thinking critically when they're choosing the information. They're communicating the information that they've learned, and they're being creative with it, with every single step of the way.
Draft and your rubric.
For a total of 45 and 24.
So students in 6th grade math or course 1, one of the main topics they have to know is how to use a coordinate plane. We use the tiles on the floor, which set up a natural coordinate plane. We had them find different points within the state of Virginia that were important. Then they had to code spheros, which are interactive robots, to actually visit each of those spots along the coordinate plane and then make their way back home to home, and that's all done through coding on the spheros and iPod touches.
to cut the tops of these.
Jill Garloff and I have been working together with her culinary arts students. We won a tower garden at Teacher Fest this year. So she's talking to her kids about growing fruits and vegetables from seed. It's all hydroponically grown.
Hopefully we're going to try to keep the pH at a level.
You know, when we talk about the Henrico learner profile and the deeper learning model, this is exactly what we're aiming for, with the students being able to see the fruits of their efforts, both literally and figuratively. And it's going to be an awesome process from beginning to end.
Mr. Montgomery, would you read the mission statement, please?
Yes, I will. Henrico County Public Schools, an innovative leader in educational excellence, will actively engage our students in diverse learning experiences that inspire and empower them to become contributing citizens.
Thank you very much. And now, board members, we are going to hear from our superintendent.
Different to join you from this position rather than up there, so I'm excited to be able to share with you Amy's passport, which is a reflection of my first 100-plus days in position as superintendent. So good evening. I am really proud to be able to share what we are calling Amy's Passport, which is a collection of travels, reflections, and next steps after my first 100 days or so as superintendent of Henrico County Public Schools. So how did we come up with that name, Amy's Passport? Well, in Henrico County, more than 85 different languages are spoken by our students whose families represent more than 100 countries of origin. I'm amazed at the opportunities, resources, and diversity that we enjoy county-wide. As I've gotten to know Henrico, I feel as if I can travel the world right here at home. The Passport started as a blog, but now I'm happy to give you this, an actual booklet that is being made available to you all today. So I'm going to share these with you. So we intend to share this also with our employees, our government and county partners, and our families beginning tomorrow and continuing in the coming weeks. So I very much look forward to sharing that with audiences beyond our board. So this passport documents my visits with students, their families, local leaders, community groups, and interested citizens. So tonight I'll show our community what I'm learning and how that knowledge will be used to make our schools even better. Tonight, I'll summarize what's in the booklet with some top reflections to include some exciting opportunities that build on our strengths while blazing some new paths forward. And then, after listening and learning and reflecting, the next phase is action. We'll walk through some of the top recommendations and next steps in months and years to come. But first, please direct your attention to the screens and let's start at the beginning of this wonderful journey.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
It is an honor to have been selected to serve the Henrico County community as superintendent of schools. The journey has been tremendous. Early, it was a lot of meet and greets that were held at the library where folks came out, whether they were staff members, parents, and even some students.
How are you? We have really
The town hall meetings offered a more formal opportunity for individuals to ask questions as a group. Just before school started, there was the back-to-school kickoff event. What a surprise it was to arrive early in the morning and see what felt like miles and miles of tents that were set up in anticipation of our students and our families coming not just to have fun, but to access resources they needed to start the school year off smart. Convocation, wow, I was blown away from the moment the first school walked in the door till the moment they left. The energy kept building, there was excitement, there was enthusiasm, just a wonderful opportunity to not only bond, but to kind of set the tone. The same kind of excitement I sensed at Convocation, I saw happen on the first day. I saw staff members lined up with pom-poms. I saw sidewalk chalk messages greeting students, letting them know how thrilled we were that they were back in school. It was also exciting to see that our governor chose to be with us and share in that excitement and see what it is that makes Henrico County Schools so special when it comes to what we offer our students, not just on the first day, but every day.
Yes. Good morning. Welcome back.
Talks about things that are sort of common sense, opportunity to connect face to face. A highlight for me has been attending a staff meeting at each school. And while I haven't gotten to each and every one, I've made tremendous headway, and I'm surprised at how many I've been able to visit so far. But these staff meetings have offered me the opportunity, one, to do a little sharing in a small group setting. What it's really been able to provide for me is a sense of what makes each individual school unique. And so many of those have also come with classroom visits. That's also a highlight, is when I'm able to get into classrooms and see our teachers making magic happen with students. There is clearly an evident commitment to STEAM made throughout Henrico County schools, and that goes beyond just classroom-related activities and school-related activities. For example, the STEAM in Sports event at VCU, which offered STEAM concepts in action. Kids were excited about learning, and it was a treat to get on the floor with them there.
3-year grant to Maymont to implement their program.
Another highlight was getting to see the school division be awarded a grant with Maymont, where students have an opportunity, and teachers as well, to get some professional development to understand and study our watersheds. When I first arrived in the county, one thing that impressed me was the well-articulated Henrico learner profile. So I'm tremendously impressed to the degree to which teachers are risk-taking to try new things in the classroom for the benefit of students, to make sure that they are truly life-ready. The March for More was a great opportunity to show a collective voice, if you will, saying that we do believe that K-12 education should be fully funded.
You bet we do.
So that was a powerful opportunity to be able to advocate for our students and for our system of education. I think one of the most impressive things, whether it's our staff, our community stakeholders, in my initial meetings with them, almost every individual could quickly tell me many things they were proud of about Henrico County Public Schools. But in the same breath, we're also able to articulate excitement and energy around the opportunity to grow and to innovate and engage in change. And I think that's the sign of a really healthy, thriving school division. And so I'm proud to be in a place that has so much excellence, but to be able to think about how together we can take that to the next level to really ensure that our students have world-class opportunities here in Henrico County. So that captured a bit of my travels. It's been incredibly busy and wonderful, and I'm glad to have been able to share those highlights with you. But now on to my reflections. So the Passport booklet that you've received contains all of my reflections, but this evening for tonight's presentation, I've just captured a few of those reflections to share with you all. And so as I was reflecting and thinking about how I might organize those, I decided to share my reflections in alignment with the division's strategic plan. So as you know, our plan has 4 cornerstones: safety and wellness, academic growth, equity and opportunity, and relationships. So here are some strengths, and there are some opportunities and strengths listed under each of those 4 cornerstones. Under safety and wellness, our strengths are that we maintain safe buildings, grounds, and protocols. Our practices are reviewed and updated, and drills are performed regularly. And using our meals tax dollars to provide buildings that are safe and conducive to learning. We have opportunities to increase wellness funding for students to more fully cover our state standards. We can expand opioid and drug awareness programs to more adequately meet student mental health needs, and we can ensure equity regarding disciplinary consequences. Our strengths under academic growth, again, there are so many noted in the full report, but wanted to share a few of those here this evening. The community largely views our academic programs as rigorous and of high quality. We're making continued gains on our standards of learning assessments, and the number of state-accredited schools is at a 6-year high. So much to be proud of. And some opportunities include making sure that each school examines data for achievement gaps and then has a very clear plan to address those gaps. We can increase our emphasis on strategies that benefit students living in poverty, African American males, and students with disabilities. And we can redesign our curricula to align with the Henrico learner profile and deeper learning models. Under equity and opportunity, our strengths are the creation of an equity and diversity office last year, along with the associated advisory committee, plus some early equity initiatives that have happened to increase teacher and student access to culturally relevant literature. We have the opportunity to increase our efforts to make sure our building leaders, students, and staff members are culturally responsive. We can design a systematic staff training resource related to these issues and design a plan to support the access and achievement of underrepresented student groups in our higher level courses. And under relationships, I can see we have strong collaboration with the county manager and government agencies. There are regular parent and family engagement workshops. Large numbers of parents report that our staff is caring and nurturing. So many positive stories noted. Where we have opportunities include forming strong, trusting relationships with school staff members, particularly with our marginalized families. Creating ways for students in the disciplinary process to restore relationships with teachers and students. Why? Because strengthening relationships decreases the chance that incidents will recur. And finally, we can strengthen avenues for student support by enhancing our focus and re-examining the ways that we serve our students and families through the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act and enrollment variances. So after listening and learning and reflection comes action. So action is next, and I've framed these recommendations around teaching and learning, safety and student support systems, equity and diversity, organizational efficiency, and financial planning. And again, I'll share with you this evening some highlights, but the report shares a number of recommendations for moving forward for action that go well beyond what I'm going to share here. So the first one, let's revisit the division's literacy plan and ensure that schools have the tools, resources, and staffing for struggling readers to receive appropriate intervention and instruction. We should staff elementary and middle schools with a reading teacher who possesses expertise in teaching reading to coach and model literacy strategies for teachers and work directly with students. And let's develop a plan to ensure a robust library of guided reading materials as the elementary and middle school at both the elementary and middle school levels to meet a wide range of reading levels. Under safety and student support systems, we should determine a model to capture parent input and suggestions related to the IEP meeting process and re-examine meeting protocols to ensure that all meeting attendees are valued members of the team. We'll develop a multi-year plan that will address the recommendations from 2018's Independent Special Education Review, and we can develop a plan for key staff in all schools to develop their own skills in conflict management and relationship restoration. Under equity and diversity, we'll be working to implement an annual school climate survey to include components that relate to student, staff, and parent perceptions on safety, on equity, and on inclusiveness. We'll ensure curricula are relevant, authentic, and provide resources that promote multicultural awareness. And we should require training for all staff that covers cultural sensitivity and implicit and explicit bias. Under organizational efficiency, we need to create a mechanism for community stakeholders to easily understand the division's work towards meeting the strategic goal goals outlined in the division's strategic plan. We'll develop a comprehensive approach to teacher retention that includes personalized, differentiated pathways for teacher professional development and increased classroom support systems. And I'd like us to examine and create a stronger structure for school improvement. And then, under financial planning, I want to develop a financial plan that eliminates student laptop fees and other instructional fees for materials that are really essential to core academic programming. We should restore pre-recession funding levels that more accurately meet the division's need for textbooks, instructional materials, and digital resources to ensure equitable access to resources at all of our schools. And we certainly must eliminate the burden and reliance on PTAs and other fundraising efforts to provide schools with access to our basic instructional resources. So now what? I'm here on behalf of a division leadership team that will work alongside me to come back early in 2019 with a timeline for action steps and outcomes. We want to hold ourselves accountable and to be transparent in doing so. And by that, I mean that we intend to prepare periodic updates, not only to the school board, which we would also post on the Passport page of our website and share in regular communications to our staff and our student households. And finally, a word of thanks. All of these experiences, reflections, and action steps wouldn't be possible without the citizens, employees, families, students, and partners who welcomed me with open arms to Henrico County. I am energized by the places I've been and the people I have met. This nationally recognized school division would not be so well regarded without your leadership on the school board and the partnership we enjoy with County Manager John Vitolkas and the County Board of Supervisors. You are tremendous advocates for our schools, our students, and families, and I am grateful for your wisdom, support, and trust. So here's to creating world-class opportunities for the students of Henrico. Thank you. And of course, I'd like to offer the board an opportunity to ask any questions or
Dr. Castro,
share any
thank
comments.
you so much. We're going to return the thanks for your presentation and your thoughts. I'm going to open up to the board members first. Any comments or questions? Reverend Cooper?
I'm good.
You can, anybody? Questions? No questions? You said you were energized. I imagine you're also tired. But I wanted to, just two comments real quick. I am especially glad to see your plan for literacy. I mean, I'm sitting here and looking out at the staff, and we're all shaking our heads going, yes. And to have reading teachers in schools, and I think that is just such a wonderful plan. But also, your item on eliminating and the laptop fees and other fees that cover the basic needs for our students. I think that is a great help to our families. It's something we've talked about, how to keep those fees as low as possible, but to try and work those into the budget, I think, is a great idea and a great plan. So I thank you for all of that and all of your other suggestions to move us forward and keep us moving towards excellence, which is where I think we're headed. So we really appreciate all your great work in your first 100+ days.
Well, it's been wonderful to get such detailed feedback from the community. So as you know, the recommendations that I've brought forth, particularly some of that you've mentioned and including the one around the student fees, have come directly from our families and listening to some of the challenges and seeing some of the struggles that exist and finding out ways we might be able to mitigate those. So,
right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your and sharing this. I know this has been sent to other members of the community and will be out there for parents to see your full plan, which I think we'll all be interested in sharing and talking about with people as we go forward.
Hard copies should arrive to folks tomorrow, to a number of folks, and then, of course, we'll make more available. And then there's the digital version on our site as well that, as I mentioned, kind of began as a blog and now will more formally exist as this passport document. And then we'll look forward to updating the action steps along the way so folks can see how we're making progress on those action steps.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, now I'm going to, if
You
there
can
aren't any more
rejoin
questions, I
us.
will
Yep.
rejoin.
Thank you very much. And the next item on the agenda is the public forum. This is the time where citizens are invited to address the school board on any matter of concern about the school division. Some citizens may have signed up in advance with the school board clerk. We will follow that list first and then allow anyone else who wishes to speak to come to the podium and do so after we have completed the list. We ask that each speaker come to the microphone and clearly identify him or herself. Please give your name and your neighborhood or school affiliation. To assist you in tracking your time, there is a timekeeping system on the podium. Speakers will have a 4-minute time limit. The light will be green as you begin your remarks, and the yellow light means you have 1 minute remaining, and we ask that you stop speaking when the light turns red. The school board is here tonight to hear from you, our community. Speakers should speak directly to the board. We will not be responding to speakers, but if you wish to be contacted by staff about your concerns, please leave your name and contact information on the sign-in form located on the table behind the microphone. And we do have several people who have signed up in advance, so I'll call them in order that they signed up. Kristen Kottman, come on down, and then Terry Bolden is after Kristen.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Kottman. I was here on October the 25th. My son was assaulted at Holland Springs High School. Since then, on October the 26th, I had to file a report on the same group of boys. On November the 16th, the same group of boys assaulted another child at the school. On December the 4th, the same boys are on social media, one of the boys on social media making jokes about he was expelled and back in Holland Springs High School. My question is, if you have a minority of students that are causing problems at the school, the welfare of the children is being jeopardized. And I understand the prison to pipeline situation going on, but that's where your judgment comes in. And if you have, and my welfare is my child and the other children in the school. And if you have a minority that's causing the problem, get the minority out and have the majority still learn. And the two most important things I think should be the learning, first of all, and second of all, are the children's safety. The schools have the kids 7 hours a day, 7 to 8 hours a day. And it seems to me every week that there is a situation or an assault or a fight going on within Holland Springs High School. And to me, that should be a high priority and number one on the list if you need more security, if you need security cameras. I know that they're getting a new school, and that is wonderful, that is great, but what's going on inside of the school is important as well. So it should be some type of initiative to correct the safety of our students in that school. And for one, I'm a person that will volunteer if you need to parents to walk the halls, if you need more security, if you need police officers. Everyone needs to get involved and step it up a little bit. And that's all I have to say.
And next we have Terry Bolden.
Good evening. As she said, my name is Terry Bolden, and I spoke about a month ago about the same issue that my sister-in-law spoke about. I'm a former student of Howland Springs. I didn't know all of this was going on until my nephew was involved in an altercation, and I spoke on that on October the 25th. I'm here tonight because I feel there is no sense of urgency. I've never been a part of something that I'm trying to help, and I feel like I've been put on, and this is in my opinion, on a stationary bike, and I'm trying to help propel the situation further, but I'm on the stationary bike and no one is allowing me to do anything more about it. Now, we've had a meeting with the principal of Howland Springs and Mr. White and Mr. Farrell, and we spoke, but it took us probably about an hour to even get them to call it bullying. I don't know what else you would call it. Fighting, bullying, disruptive behavior. It's really bad at Howland Springs High School. Really, really bad. And I want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem, but part of the problem is I'm here, but no one is reaching out to me. Everything that I've done as far as emails, now they did respond one time. We had the meeting one time, and then I said, well, we need a follow-up meeting. Well, when I called, it took me a week to even get an appointment. So when I spoke to Mr. White's secretary, I said, well, can we tentatively make an appointment? Because she told me that we had to wait for him to get back to check his schedule. I get that. We all are busy. But get back to me. That's what you have an assistant for, tentatively. So I had to suggest that. And sometimes I feel like they, instead of allowing me to help you, I feel like they, I don't know if I feel like they think we are, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to help you, but I don't feel like they are helping me help them. I feel like they kind of put you on the back burner, and I don't know if they don't have the solutions. And we have all of these brilliant minds in this building, but no one can figure out what we need to do with these students. Either we need to do some type of conflict resolution, or I don't know if after 3 times of suspension, what is the consequences? I feel like these kids don't have any consequences, and we can do better. We get up here and we talk about how wonderful the schools are. They are, but we have students that are bleeding, and if they're bleeding and they're asking for help, whether it's counseling, I'm not sure why they're not being counseled. How come a psychologist isn't coming on board? Nobody is doing anything to help the situation, and if they are doing something, they're not conveying it to me. If anything, they're putting me on hold. So I don't know if they don't want my help, they don't know what to do. I just don't understand what's going on, and that's why I'm here tonight, just to give you some light on what's going on and what I'm feeling, and I feel like they're not reaching back out to me. Everything, like I said, that has been done, I reach out through the emails. No one has called me and said, thank you, Ms. Bolden, this is what has happened. Now, Mr. Farrell did reach out to me and said that they spoke with the kids, and I said, so what is the plan of action? So no one has told me a plan of action, and it's been about a month, so I'm not sure what's going on, but thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Ray Beasley.
My name is Ray Beasley, Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, school board members, employees, and guests. At the September SEAC meeting held on Tuesday, November 13th, we hosted Dr. Cashwell. She had the opportunity to share what our vision looks like for the future of our children in our school system. Despite the great information shared by her, Nia Hamlet, and Pam Bell, there was an effort to undermine the experience by Candace Lucas and her disruptive partners. They come to meetings demanding people be fired, all while calling their ancestors names. Let me say for the record, when it comes to issues that must be addressed related to special education and discipline in our schools, I have not met a politician, pastor, school administrator, teacher, community leader, or parent who does not stand on the same side of the issues needing to be addressed as Candace Lucas. That includes me. In my case, I know she knows this because I had a meeting with her business partner. However, absent a few frustrated parents, it's unanimous amongst all that her strategy of hate-mongering and name-calling is wrong, sinful, and evil. Her business strategy is to recruit parents in order to undermine the morale of existing educators and severely hamper recruitment of teachers and administrators. They also seek to disrupt schools and traumatize children, all while siphoning off funds from the school budget. Please take note that Candace does not disrupt or traumatize her children's school. If our school district hired Jesus and held a meeting to introduce him, Candace Lucas and her business partners would sprinkle among the crowd and shout Barabbas. As I listened to the disgusting comments made about Donis and Naya, it became clear to me, in the case of Donis, I cannot say with absolute certainty that Candace Lucas is a racist. What I can say with absolute certainty is Candace Lucas has racist tendencies. However, in Naya's case, it's simple. Candace seems to be jealous. I don't know if she's jealous of her appearance, children, husband, or education, but she's definitely jealous of her job. When I saw the story on the news December 4, I was disappointed with the news for spreading their propaganda. The part about the money the county spends defending itself did not tell the whole story. What it didn't point out is the bulk, if not all, of those dollars are spent fighting Candace Lucas. Every parent of a student in our school, special education or otherwise, should be angry with them and not at the school district for having to defend itself from them. For anyone to attack the county regarding legal defense funds in this scenario is like your landlord going into your house, collecting your clothes and throwing them in the mud every day. You pick them out of the mud every day and then wash them. Then at the end of the month, your landlord tells you he's raising your rent because your water bill is too high. Men of my generation were told the best way to deal with a bully is every time they bother you, punch them in the mouth. After the second, third time, they start to look for somebody else to pick on. It looked like our bullies have found someone else to pick on. New Kent, get ready. What Candace does seems less about advocacy and more about vengeance. Our school district's history of not undertaking the types of change it is now committed to open the door to so-called advocates like Candace Lucas. She has used that opening to recruit a few parents who are justifiably desperate for solution. Those parents who make up approximately 0.003% of our special education student population have turned to Candace for advocacy, have made a deal with the devil. If you convince someone to stand on a corner and sell sex to put money in your pocket, it does not make you an advocate for love, it makes you a pimp. Let me be clear, Candace is not the voice of all people. Candace Lucas is the voice of her people. I don't need anybody to tell me about the school-to-prison pipeline or the incarceration rate for black men or the impact on poverty and on education. Because of my advocacy, I live it at the ground level every day. On January 9, 1993, I lost an angel of a son the week before his 18th birthday to a bullet to the back of his head. He wasn't killed by a school teacher or administrator. He wasn't killed by a racist police officer. He was killed by an unparented, undisciplined black child. My reaction wasn't to hate all undisciplined black children and their parents. My reaction was to see how we could help children at home so that they don't have to bring their baggage to school. And we can't help them without their parents, no matter how much money is thrown into schools. Dr. Cashwell, I challenge you to support the work of the Special Education Advisory Committee. Empower teachers and administrators with our recommendations so that they can know that parents want to partner with them to make our schools better and not blame them for everything. We are the volunteers of children of special education who have and still live the struggles of our system. We are the real advocates. The issues are real, the solutions are desperately needed. The question is, who are you willing to allow to bring change that is needed? Thank you in advance for this consideration.
Thank you. And next is Jennifer Andrews.
Good evening, Jennifer Andrews, Henrico resident and teacher at Godwin High School, speaking for the Henrico Education Association. So earlier, you heard from the Salary Compression Committee, which reported on two aspects of employment in Henrico County, the salary compression and a career ladder. So fixing the problem of salary compression is a practical issue of pay and of morale. The HEA feels that fixing the salary compression should improve morale of staff. Now, concerning a potential career ladder, something that's already developed on the county side, this would be a way to demonstrate proficiency as a teacher with financial incentives attached and would put a teacher in control of their own progress. I'm a member of the Virginia Department of Education Advisory Board on Teacher Education and Licensure. So I am well aware of the requirements for teacher certification. something that we have to keep up in order to keep our jobs. But a career ladder for Henrico teachers would give staff additional ways to demonstrate their proficiency as a teacher and to be financially rewarded for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are the people who signed up in advance. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board? Come on up and.
Good evening. My name is Lolita Lassane Thomas, and I also have a student that used to attend Howland Springs High School. He's now at Dominion Academy. But during the time of me being at Howland Springs, I've witnessed a lot. My son was bullied the first year that he was there, had a lot of issues. We had it was a lot going on in Howland Springs, and it still is. And the problem is a lot of the stuff is being swept under the rug, like it's nothing going on in the county, and it's a lot going on in the county. I am a county employee, and I see a lot that goes on with the school. When my son was at Howland Springs, this young lady, she's here tonight, she was an angel for my son, and I'm going to call her out, and that was Miss Pamela Bell, because a lot of things that was going on at Howland Springs, she was able to keep me under control to say, Ms. Thomas, let us handle it, let's get to the bottom of it. I'm sorry to say, since she has left, the school has been out of control. I don't know what y'all gonna have to do to get it under control. The drugs, the bullying, every time you turn, every week it's a fight or something going on in Howland Springs that y'all are not aware of, that's on social media. We win in championships, but what are we doing as far as educating the kids to stop them from bullying each other, fighting each other, hurting each other? We just had a problem up there with 2 of the kids today. I mean, when does it stop? When do we say enough is enough? I went to Howland Springs, and it hurts me to see what's going on. I do want to say we need to do something to try to get the school back under control. It starts with the parents, because it starts at the home. And once we maybe start having like meetings with the parents or something where we can volunteer and just come in and work with the kids to get it under control. But it's not just in the high school, it's starting out in the elementary schools too, because that's where I work. So if it's starting in the elementary schools and going to the middle schools and then it's hitting the high schools, when do we say enough is enough? I mean, that's all I have to say about it. I would like to let the superintendent know my son has an IEP. Thank you so much for pushing that issue as far as making IEP being, doing what it needs to do, because I had a lot of problems with my son at Howland Springs with his IEP, to the point I had to go to the principal at that time, Ms. Bell, concerning my son's IEP. So thank you so much for pushing and making them stick to that. I just say we need to do something concerning the high school, because it's out of control, and it's starting with our babies and it's going to the high school. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Bruce?
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, members of the board. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Cashwell. I'm leaving here and listening to some of the comments. I'm leaving here and running right around to the Recreation Center, because we're holding a Youth Leadership Council tonight. The Police Athletic League, we have our open house for youth leadership. So youth leadership has served in the capacity of preparing our young ones to be leaders. And that's being held tonight from 6:30 to 8:30. I did not come to talk about that, though, but I mentioned that because of the prior comments I've heard this evening. I came to talk about 2 important issues, and they're more budgetary related, so I needed to be here at 5:30, and I apologize. As you can see, I'm not dressed to, I'm running to play basketball later tonight. But I say that to get this point. From a budgetary standpoint, we would hope that in part of your plan going forward, I love the presentation of the passport by the superintendent of schools, that there is some mention relative to the CTE program. I am so impressed with what Mac Beckton is doing with teaching young ones hands-on skills. I'm a real estate broker in this area. Mac Beckton is showing young ones how to build green homes. That is tremendous. That's up here. And so just to get our young folks familiar with hands-on tools of doing this type of work, I think is paramount, and I hope that we continue to support those type of programs. Not everyone is going to go and get a 4-year degree. The second piece of this is, I was made aware yesterday, and I did not know this. We started a program at Arthur Ashe Elementary School in 2011 called All Pro Dads. In that program, in speaking with Family Engagement Services Secretary, Mrs. Turi, I'm going to pronounce her last name, Talbert, informed me that the program that I started at Arthur Ashe Elementary School was the catalyst for the Man Up program. And I never knew that we started this program to bring fathers, grandfathers, surrogate fathers, uncles into the classroom, became the catalyst for a program that you guys have in school. So I asked, I told her that I would come and talk this evening because I asked that we look at programs that allow the engagement of parents to get into schools. It is so important. These teachers have a lot on their plate every day. But if we can find ways to get parents, and it could be a surrogate parent, it does not have to be the biological parent. It could be a surrogate parent where we can get those involved in some of our schools. I think those dividends pay huge rewards. Thank you guys so much for your time this evening.
Before you leave, just for the record, so anybody who listens to this later, thank you.
Bruce Richardson, I am the PTSA president at Glen Allen High School, but I should have said that upon coming up. I know you guys, so thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to go ahead? Come on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Hutchinson. And I just, I actually didn't plan on speaking tonight, but listening to these ladies speak about Highland Springs, I've spoken before about Highland Springs. My son attended Highland Springs. And, it's extremely frustrating to know that the issues at Highland are not getting better, but getting worse. These issues are systemic in nature. And if we don't look at them in a more intentional way, if we are not trying to correct these issues in a very intentional way, then we're failing these kids. And I'll be honest with you, one mistake that I see that's continuously being made is expecting people to always come to you. And instead of waiting for people to come into this room, then maybe the board needs to go to where they are. Go and sit down with these parents. Figure out what's going on. Try to help break this generational poverty that's happening, because that's exactly what's happening. They always say that being Black in America is a very traumatic experience. And I am here to tell you that, yes, being Black in America is extremely traumatic. We need more trauma-informed care in our schools. When there are issues happening, we need to have people in place that are willing to sit down and mediate the situation and not wait until it gets to the point of no return. Not wait until it escalates to the point that these kids cannot sit down and cannot mediate and cannot learn and grow from this point. Just simply saying, let's separate the kids and that'll be it. That does not work. We know that doesn't work. And to just increase security in a school, that also doesn't work. Because while I am all for having security in a school, I am for having SROs or SSOs in a school to a certain degree. I do not think that we need any more in a school, because it's only going to keep adding to the problem. If we do not get to the root cause of this, then we are doing a severe injustice to our children. And so I am here just simply stating, just backing up these women to say that I too know that the issues at Highland Springs are systemic. And we can't wait anymore. It's not fair. So yeah, we're building a new school, and that's great. But if we don't actually fix what's happening inside that school, then what's the purpose of having a new building? So just want to say that. And then, let me just also add that at Highland Springs, I don't know if many people have actually paid attention, but when you look at Highland Springs, there's a gate around Highland Springs. My husband My husband jokes sometimes. He's like, oh, you mean Highland Springs Correctional Facility? Because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like a school. When you look at the other high schools, they're open. They don't have gates around them. There's no fence. But when you go to Highland Springs, from the moment you hit Highland Springs, from the moment you enter those doors, it does not feel like a school. It feels like you are entering a correctional facility. That is not a very good signal to send to our children at all, because we're telling them that that's exactly what we expect them to be. So we have got to start looking at everything, the entire picture, from the top to the bottom, be more intentional. I am urging y'all to look through everything with racial equity lens, because if we don't have racial equity as a part of the solution, once again, we're failing before we start. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Okay, thank you very much for coming tonight. We're going to kind of race through a few things that are a result of our work session this afternoon. And we will start with the approval of our minutes. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from November 8th, 2018 work session and monthly meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Cock. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Montgomery. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved.
All right, for the first item, the superintendent recommends that the school board approve the proposed 2019-2020 school calendar.
Is there a motion to approve the calendar as we saw this afternoon?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Reverend Cooper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The calendar is approved.
All right, next, the superintendent recommends that the school board accept the Virginia First Grant Award of $750 from Capital One.
Is there a motion to accept the Virginia First Grant that benefits Henrico High School?
On behalf of Henrico High School, I'd be more than happy to make a motion to accept the grant.
Thank you, Reverend Cooper. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Montgomery. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The superintendent recommends that the school board accept the additional school security equipment grant award of $14,743 from the Virginia Department of Education.
Is there a motion to accept the school security equipment grant from the Department of Education?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Reverend Cooper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The superintendent requests that the school board award a contract to Mosley Architects in the amount of $7,799,572 for the architectural and engineering services associated with the designs of the new replacement schools for Tucker and Highland Springs High Schools.
And we are so excited to take this one up. Is there a motion to award a contract to Mosley Architects for the architectural and engineering services associated with the design of the replacement schools for Tucker and Highland Springs?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Reverend Cooper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
All right, the superintendent requests that the school board approve the assignment of AE services for Tuckahoe Middle School from BCWH, Inc. to Quinn Evans Architects, Inc.
Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Reverend Cooper. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Pike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The superintendent requests that the school board approve a right-of-way agreement between the Virginia Electrical and Power, Dominion Energy Virginia, and the County School Board of Henrico County, Virginia at Chamberlain Elementary School.
Is there a motion
So moved.
to? Thank you, Reverend Cooper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Montgomery. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The superintendent requests that the school board approve the right-of-way agreement between Virginia Electric and Power, or Dominion Energy Virginia, and the County School Board of Henrico County, Virginia at Brookland Middle School.
Is there a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Thank you, Reverend Cooper, again. Is there, he made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Cock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and the following are consent items, which could be taken as a block. The acceptance of the monthly financial statement and budgetary status report for the month ending in October 31, 2018. The acceptance of the monthly financial statement for school nutrition services for the month ending October 31, 2018. Approval of pupil transportation employee appointments and releases, and the approval of personnel items.
Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Pike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent items are approved.
All right, thank you, and that concludes items from the superintendent.
Okay. Board members, is there any unfinished business? Any new business? Okay, I will remind everyone that tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:30 a.m., we will have our annual legislative breakfast where the board has and staff have the opportunity to meet with the members of the General Assembly from Henrico County. Gives us an opportunity to review our legislative agenda and talk about upcoming legislative session. That is at 7:30 a.m. at the Ashe Center at Hermitage, where we will be served breakfast made by students, which is always a pleasure for us. Then our next board work session is on January 10th at 2 p.m. right here at New Bridge. Hearing no further business, we are adjourned.